This is the Hanging with A podcast.
What's up? This is the Hanging with A podcast, episode 39. I'm sorry, coming to you always from Brockton, Massachusetts. I just want to say thank you to everybody out there who has subscribed to my podcast, people who share my podcast, people who comment on episodes. I really, really appreciate it. Started this journey 2 years ago. We're officially monetized, which means that, I can start making money and profit off of my podcast. This is, a dream of mine, and that's pretty much why I got it started, why I started in the first place. You can follow me on Instagram, Hang With A Podcast. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on TikTok. You can follow me on Snapchat. So, I'm everywhere at this point. My next guest, she's like family. She's new family to me. She's doing some incredible things out here in the world, and she was nice enough to come on here and talk about those incredible things that she is doing. She's a god sister of my fiance, who I'm going to marry in December 9th, 2023. And I'm just so happy that, she's family and she is going to be on the podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Jasmin.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. Excited to be here. And you say thank you to me, but I say thank you to you because I enjoy being able to get in front of more people all the time. Yeah. So this is a way to do so.
Yeah, no problem at all. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
So, as you said, my name is Jasmin. I am from Massachusetts. I have not lived here my whole life, but I was born here. I'm a mom, first and foremost. I used to be a DCF worker and had a friend of mine essentially say, I know you hate it there. So why don't you try this? And what he meant by that was, why don't you try being a financial advisor? He said, let's, try this. So it was at the time where COVID was like really taking over. Yeah. Trying to force us to get the COVID shot. Now, don't nobody kill me, but I didn't want it. So I was kind of looking for an out before they started firing people. And this just happened to come at the right time. And not for nothing, I love finance. Trying to force us to get the COVID shot. Now, I own multiple properties where I live. I'm a landlord. I love like budgeting. I love helping people do that. So it just kind of felt right. And I also help people with insurance. So not just advising, but insuring themselves so that their loved ones are safe when and if something happens to them.
Yeah. I feel like that's important work that you're doing. I feel like it's work that like everybody does not know anything about, but they should know about it. You know what I mean? You should know about your finances. You should know about your life insurance. You should know about your retirement. You should just know all the time where your money goes and where your money is going after you are no longer here. So I definitely agree with that. So like, what made you want to get into that type of work? What pushed you towards that?
It was just honestly, like I said, the right time. Like I needed to get out of DCF, and it was presented to me. And I'm kind of one of those people. I'm like a free spirit a little bit sometimes. My family says that I do. Like my uncle cussed me out. He's like, "I can't believe you. You're an idiot. You're leaving the state. What is wrong with you?" And I just was like, "What's so great about the state? Like the benefits are not all that. Like they're truly not." And you work a very strict, actually, at DCF. I worked more hours than I ever should have.
Yeah.
So I had no flexibility. I saw other people's kids more than I saw my own kid. My kid used to cry. Mommy, you're always with other people's kids. Why are you not home? So it was just like kind of like an out. And then it turned into something that I really enjoy doing. Like I said, I was a single mom for a long time. My boyfriend is a huge help in my life, and he treats my daughter like his own, much like you and Morgan. So I'm no longer a single mom, I say. But I'm really good at budgeting. Like I was on state assistance while going to college. I had to make sacrifices in order to be a full-time parent, full-time student, but I also worked on the campus. So it just kind of fit who I was as a person. Yep. Like I can still do social work. I can still help people, but I can do it from a financial standpoint. And that financial standpoint for me it was really, really big for me. It just made sense. Like, I figured I could help a lot of single moms protect their families because, like, not for nothing, when you're a single mom, especially if there is not help, or even a single dad, there's not help from the other parent, at least knowing, like, a good term product, something like that. Like, something that, in the event that your kids are not 18 and can be self-sufficient, you can protect them and the people who are going to then have to take on that burden because your children aren't the burden, but the financial responsibility is.
Okay. Yep.
So.
Now, how long have you been with the company that you work for now? How long have you been with them?
I've been with New York Life for almost, this September will be my 2 years, but I think I'm like right at exactly a year and a half.
Yeah.
And that's who I started with. And I love the company. Like, I can't say enough about them. Like, honestly, truly, between bonuses that they give, between like last year I made council, which just means that I hit numbers that I needed to hit, so I got a free trip. And at the free trip, they give you all these education to keep you growing in your business. And I made that, and I was proud of that because I didn't expect to hit it being my first year. But I made it, and I know people who've been there for 7 years who have never made it.
Okay.
So, I really, truly do love where I work.
Yeah. No, shout out to you for doing that. That's a big accomplishment. And it must have felt good when you know what I'm saying, when you received that and you became that.
Oh yeah, I take free vacations all the time.
Yeah.
Like, anytime somebody's paying for something for me to go somewhere, like, sure.
Where's some places that you've been?
So, being my first year, last year, my official first year, they brought us to Austin, Texas, which was cool because Austin's very weird and strange. And their logo, like their like city logo is like, or I should say catchphrase is keep it weird.
Yeah. Okay.
And they kept it weird. It was very, very weird. But this year, if I make the first level of council, it would be Washington, D.C., which doesn't sound fun.
Yeah.
But I know somebody who goes there every year, multiple times a year, and they say that they have some of the best nightlife and like fun things to do in the city. So I'm now kind of looking forward to that. I'm hoping that I make it, and by chance that I make it to the level above that. They're actually shutting down Universal Studios this year.
Oh.
And you can get food and on any ride that you want, as many times as you want, no lines, because it's only New York Life that's going to be in the park at that time.
I didn't know.
So when I tell you, and that's just the first two levels. There's a Hawaii for the level above that. And then there's, I think they're going to some fancy place in California where like only millionaires can afford to like go to. But so again, there's like different levels to council, and I'm hoping to at least reach one of the first two levels. The other ones, it's like you're making like over $300,000 a year.
Yeah. What are some things that inspire you? Like, what inspires you?
Family. That's my biggest one. Family inspires me the most. I think if it wasn't for my daughter, especially, like, I just would not have the drive that I have now. And I know that. Like I said, I was a free spirit. I was in every other state other than Massachusetts at all times. So family. The other thing that drives me, too, is, like, now that I have... And I'm not going to say success. I don't want people to get confused. Everybody's idea of success is different. So I don't want people to think that, like, I don't think that they're successful because they don't have what I have. That's not it. But once I taste my version of success, I feel like that's my inspiration to keep going. Like, I never feel like it's enough.
Okay.
I reach a tier, and, like, some people, they're all about celebrating everything. I don't celebrate. I'm like, but, like, I could do more.
Yeah.
And, like, that's my inspiration. Like, I'm my worst critic. I absolutely am terrible at accepting any type of, like, yay, I did it. I'm like, yay, I did it for, like, literally an hour at most. And then I'm like, what can I do more? Yeah. And then my other inspiration is just, like, I won't even call it inspiration. I think it's motive, like motivation, is I really want to leave this earth knowing that I broke generational curses. I'm a Christian. I'm very big on my faith.
Yeah.
And my family, and I'm sure Morgan could tell you, where we come from, people don't necessarily have the keys to success. Yeah. Like they don't know about saving. They don't know how to build generational wealth. Like they don't know these things. And that's my biggest motivation too, is like making sure that when I leave this earth, my daughter has at least a couple million, and then she follows the model that I set, and her kids have double that or triple that.
Yeah.
And I want to create that, because not for nothing, I'm Cape Verdean and Portuguese, and the most that Cape Verdean and Portuguese people do is they think throw money in a bank, throw money in a bank, throw money in a bank, but that doesn't earn you anything. The money doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
So that's where my inspiration and motivation comes from.
Okay. I like that. What's a quote you live by? Like, if you had to pick a quote that you live by every day, like, what is a quote that you live by?
Oh, that's tough. That is tough. Honestly, wow, I've never been asked this question, and I don't know if I live by a quote. I really don't think I have one. I think that I'm one of those people that I hear a quote and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And for like maybe a month,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, yeah. And then a month goes by and I'm like, what's on to the next one? What else? Because I'm not somebody who can I don't know, I'm not all like philosophical in that manner.
Yeah.
Like, God, maybe it's a Harry Potter quote that I live by. I don't know. I'm a big Harry Potter fan.
I mean, like, if I had to, like, the one quote that stands out to me, and I think about it every day, is like, the highest human act is to inspire. All right.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
And I got that from Nipsey Hussle. You know what I mean? Like, I truly believe that is the highest human act, is to inspire and help others. And just try to help other people reach, you know what I mean? Like, whether it's doing this or, I think like that was the biggest thing why I got into like podcasting, because it gives other people a platform who are doing incredible and awesome things. You know what I mean? It gives them a chance to tell their story. And like, I just love that. I love hearing about other people's story and their journey and like how they got to where they got to. So. No,
that's dope. So I guess maybe I do live by a quote, right? But like, not that I knew of, because like, I'm the same way. Like, I held a seminar with my sister. She's not my blood sister, but she can't be any closer.
Yeah.
But we basically did like education, like about home buying process and, life insurance and how you can use that for different things. And we did a free event at a restaurant where they had like a side room, and people showed up. And like, for me, that's everything. Like, and because I was a DCF worker, I always try to help kids, because if you can catch them early enough, and I know you're a teacher, so you know this. Yeah. If you can catch them early enough, I will say, I feel like there is a time and point where some people, like at a certain age, where like once that habit is ingrained, not that they can't change, but they have to want to change on their own. There's no amount of influence that can change it half the time. Like they have to want to allow the influence. Whereas if you catch kids at a certain age and a certain timeline in their life, you can influence them without them even realizing. Like, you almost reprogram them. And that's why I liked working in DCF, because you got in at those crucial times where, like, you could influence that kid where they don't even realize that's what it is. Yeah. They just, like, oh, that's so inspiring. And they just, like, they all of a sudden, it just kicks their butt into gear. And I've seen it. So, yeah, I guess I live by Nipsey Hussle's quote. I just didn't know it.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, you definitely do. How would your family and friends describe you if I asked them?
Oh, God. So, all right, this is going to sound bad, because I am a ball of energy. I talk a lot, so they definitely tell you I talk too much. They would tell you that, and when they say this, they mean it with love. They'll be like, oh, she's so mean, because I'm just brutally honest. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. There's times where I'm like, I'm just better off not saying anything. I can read the room. Yeah. But if somebody asks me for my honest opinion, I'm going to tell you. Yeah. Like, this is what it... So, like, they'd probably say I'm mean, but it's just me being honest. And a lot of people don't handle honesty very well. I'm very blunt. And the other thing they'll probably say is I'm crazy, because I just, like I said, I get ideas in my head and I'm like, let's do it. Let's go. And, like, I go too fast sometimes. Yeah. Like, but... I say I go too fast, but my mind is working just as fast. So to somebody else, it looks like I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But my mind is going. Like, even when I go to bed at night, like, I don't stop thinking. Yeah. It does not shut off. Yeah. I lay down at 9 and I'm falling asleep by 1 o'clock because everything is running through my head.
Yeah.
So they probably say all that about me.
You talked a little bit about like being a mom. Like what is being a mother like? What does being a mother mean to you? Like what is that like? What has that done for your life?
So what it means to me is like, and motherhood is you're guiding somebody. You have the most single. I'd say there's two things in life that I think God holds close is parenting and marriage.
Okay.
And I think that being given a child under whatever circumstances you were given that child, you're being entrusted with something that's really not yours. Like that's God's child. Like you are gifted this child. And for me, motherhood is trying to guide that child in the most godly way that you know how. And listen, I fall short every day, so I'm no judgment here on other people, but I really do try, like, without, saying, oh, the Bible says, because, kids don't understand that stuff. They don't hear it. They're like, oh, there she goes again. So I think motherhood is like taking your child and raising them up in the way that they should so that when they're older, they don't stray. That saying in the Bible, like raise them up and they won't stray later. I think that's really what motherhood is like your sole focus at that point is you gave up everything about you. Like you can have me time, you can do those things, but your main sole goal at this point now is to make sure that child becomes a fruitful, a law-abiding citizen, somebody who is a good person, somebody who is going to become fruitful in society and not a burden to society. And what that's done for me is, like I said earlier, I wouldn't be who I am without my daughter.
Yeah.
Like, I just wouldn't. Like, I went for my hairdressing license. And not to say nothing about hairdressers, because I grew up in that industry. Like, my aunt did it. I knew how to cut hair and dye hair by the time I was 10. Like, I used to do her hair. And I did my mom's hair. And I was going to do that. But because I knew that that's a hard... it takes 5 years to build a clientele and whatnot. I went back to school. I said, you know what? I goofed around my first college. I never finished. I need something stable. It really put me in a mindset where I had no option other than to succeed.
Yeah.
And I was always competitive, but like I was never competitive with myself.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care as long as I'm making money and whatever, like cool, whatever.
Yeah.
There was no like aspire to be great, right? Like, and because of my daughter, that's what she's done for me. She makes me want to be great because I want her to see all that I've done as a single mom and know that she can do twice, triple, quadruple as much as me as just an individual. And hopefully, she waits to have kids when she's married.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hope. We hope that. I have three. You know what I mean? I have, and I say, I have Angelica, Malcolm, and I have Cam. So, our life is very, very busy. But I wouldn't change being a father for anything in the world.
No.
It's the greatest gift for me. You know what I mean? I didn't have that growing up. So I think like just being there for them and watching them grow up and just being somebody that they can always depend on means a lot to me. It's just been great. I really enjoy it. And I just wouldn't change it for anything in the world,
Oh no, I saw the way your kids adore you when you proposed to Morgan. Like that was my thing. I was like, how does this kid behave around him? Because that's gonna let me know what kind of man he is. And they did. They adore you guys, and I think that's what every parent should aspire to, right?
Yeah.
Is like, it makes me cringe when I see people who are just like, like I live in the city, like you guys live in a city, and I see kids, going down the street with no parents, like smaller than my daughter, and they're on bikes and they're just riding around the city. And I'm like, I could never imagine myself letting my child go even around the block without me because this world's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And I think, it's just this world's crazy. And like, for me, like I said, parenthood is one of the most sacred things God trusts you with, that and marriage. Like, and if you are not aspiring to be the best parent you can be, I don't know what you're doing having kids.
Yeah, no, I agree. 100%. Who are your role models? What role models? Like, if you have role models, what are they? People that you look
I
up.
would say my parents.
Okay.
My parents. God, I hated them as a kid. Ooh, they were so strict.
Yeah.
It was so strict. But I will say my dad, he's a tough man. He's sometimes a little out there, like quick to temper. But with that being said, he was always fair. You know, he'd get really mad, but if he had to apologize, he would.
Okay.
Even as a kid, like I know parents will never apologize to their kids, and I think it's weird because you're showing your kids that there is no bending, there is no growth, there's no human like quality to you. You're kind of just like end all be all, no matter if I'm wrong or not. And then you're creating somebody just like that. So my dad was my role model because he was tough, he was stern, but he had flexibility. He knew when he was wrong and he could admit to it. And then my mom, because my mom was a go-getter. Me and her fight like cats and dogs, but my mother's a go-getter. She's had many professions, but every one of them stepped her game up in a different direction. She doesn't give up.
Yeah.
She does not give up, and that's where I don't give up. She's just, you know, both of my parents, and they've been married. That's the other thing. Again, like I said, marriage. I've always wanted to be married because of them.
Yeah.
And I got to see. They've been married for more than half my mother's life.
Wow.
And I guess my dad's too, because they're only 2 years off. So yeah, they've been married for a long time, like 32 years.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, it's great to see because I grew up where a lot of parents weren't together.
Yeah, I did too.
And yeah, and I look back and I'm like, not that, you know, oh, I'm special, but you have a leg up in some situations when you get to see that type of love. Because you get to see unconditional love.
Right.
You get to see people who sometimes don't like each other, but they still choose to wake up and love one another.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that's another huge reason why they're my role models, because I've seen and I've heard and I've lived it, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but that determination to love each other, even through the bad, actually teaches you as a kid that no matter how bad it gets, there's always a way to make it work. If you wanted
to make, yeah.
Some of my favorite people, even though they don't watch this podcast, so they will never know.
Yeah, no.
And I don't want them to, because then they get all cocky. My dad gets a big head.
Yeah. No, I just think marriage is like, you know, if your foundation, that whatever you build your marriage on, the foundation has to be, you know, your foundation. You have to be set in your foundation. You know what I mean? Like me and Morgan dated before.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Me and her got to this point. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, work I needed to do on myself and things I needed to do, and I had to grow and I had to heal from, you know, other situations that I had been in. But, you know, once I had healed from those things and I got myself back together, I'm just a totally different man than how I was before. That's because I did the work. I did what I had to do. And I knew coming in this time, I knew what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? I knew what she wanted. She always wanted the same thing. She wanted marriage. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be married. She never changed her stance on that. And, you know, but, you know, I'm lucky, you know what I mean, that when I came back around, you know, she was available. So, here we are with that.
Yeah, sometimes you know, it's funny because I have a coworker of mine. We have a couple of young coworkers, and they're, you know, talking about marriage and stuff. And sometimes I think as women, because we mature faster, we want something. But I think the biggest thing you got to remember, and I have to do it myself too. Like, I have to remember that even man, woman, doesn't matter. Everybody has their own journey.
Right.
And the path that they're supposed to be on, that God gave them. And if you look at life that way, it makes it a little bit more bearable because you can't dictate what the ruler says.
Right.
And if that person's supposed to be there, or you feel, and I think that's another thing people forget, is love is not a feeling. Love is a choice.
Right.
You can be infatuated, you can feel passionate, that's a feeling, but love is a choice. After the all warm and fuzzies go away, you're choosing to be that with that person. Right. So I think, like, again, with marriage, how you gotta know what you're getting into, one, and who you're getting it into with. Right. And that's, like you said, you had to step aside, grow, and come back.
Right.
And like you said, you were lucky she was there. Not because I'm saying because she's my god sister, but with anybody, it could have been anybody. You're lucky if they're there,
Right.
Because anybody can come up in the mix and be exactly what they were looking for.
Right. Right.
But if they really love you and choose to love you, then they usually wait.
Right. They usually wait. Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
again, I'm lucky for that. What would an older version of Jasmine tell a younger version of Jasmine?
Oh, that's a really good one. So I have this talk with myself all the time. I think my biggest thing was like as a younger person, I would constantly just push boundaries.
Okay.
And sometimes not in a good way. I was a little menace. And I think had I not been such a menace, my first round of college, I mean, don't get me wrong, I passed classes with barely even going, but I think college would have been more fruitful, even though I didn't end up in what I originally went to my first college for. I would have had more from it versus just good times.
Yeah.
And you just couldn't tell me nothing. I always had to learn the hard way. So I would say what I do now is I always talk to older people, older relatives, and I try to take from what they say and implement that. And I would tell my younger self that, like, listen to the old folks that are telling you to slow down and stop thinking you can do everything. Or if they tell you something and it's the majority's experience, take that as maybe I shouldn't do that because I don't want to be in the majority.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What is your end goal? Like when it's all said and done, like what does your end goal look like?
My end goal looks like me hopefully retiring no later than 50. I want to retire no later than 50. I really want my family to be in Texas.
Okay.
I love hot weather. I hate it up here in the north. I hate it. I want land because I want to live off the land. I have a green thumb like nobody else.
Yeah.
I can grow almost anything you give me. So I really want to be off the grid, retired at 50, if I can be, still making passive income off of what I'm doing now. I would like to, like I said, break the generational curse of not having wealth. I would like to have trusts and everything set up strategically. With that being said, yeah, I want to live a life that's worth talking about.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to look back and be like, oh my God, I didn't do enough. And I always tell people, work hard when you're young and your body can handle it, and work less when you're older. And I see a lot of people doing that backwards.
Yeah.
They work
hard.
very little. Yep. They work very little right now and then wonder why they're struggling when they're older. Like, I mean, I do finances, so I have people coming to me talking about, can I get life insurance at 50, 60 years old, or even just do planning? And I'm like, I mean, at 50, 60, you're paying for like a $50,000 policy. You're paying like $200,000.
Wow.
I mean, $200. And at the end, you might have like maybe a little cash value in your account, but nothing crazy because $200, but at 50, you only got a $50,000 policy. It's not much. And it makes burying you easier.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make your family's life easier once you leave. So like, I don't want to be one of those people who doesn't plan accordingly. Like, that's why I have the rents. Really, if all else fails, those are going to be a stream of income that just continues to pour out money.
Yeah.
At all times, like every month. But yeah, that's right. I just want to live a life worth talking about. I want to be 50 years old while people are still working like a dog, and I want to be vacationing and just, telling people, oh, I was doing this and I was doing, and when I have grandkids, oh, your grandmother did all this stuff, and you guys can come on the next vacation. You know what I mean? Like, I want to live instead of doing it backwards. Live, and then you're all of a sudden you're 50 and you're like, where did it go?
Yeah. No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
I want to work hard. And again, working hard doesn't mean physical labor. Working hard, I want to just do what I need to do now when my body can handle it versus doing it when I'm older playing catch up.
Okay. No, I can respect that. I can definitely respect that. 10 people. If you could invite 10 people to a dinner, dead or alive, who would you invite?
10 people. Okay. So this one is, So I guess, don't shoot me, people, but
You
like,
can invite,
I need to know.
you can invite
I need to
anybody.
know. Bill Gates, first of all,
Yeah.
I need to know. Because that man was apparently not that bright. Before, like he was bright in a sense, but like he just was like a nerd.
Yeah.
Like and is like always messing with computers.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, how do you take such a big idea and make money?
Mm-hmm.
Because that, like, that's what stops a lot of people. The idea is too big and they don't see how. And then let's see, Bill Gates. I'd say, God. See, this would be different if you asked me under different circumstances, because I definitely invite the whole Harry Potter cast. But J.K. Rowling.
Okay, yeah. Her story is amazing.
Yes. I'm not going to lie. Roach-infested apartment to, like, one of the richest people out there just off of books.
Yep.
Would want to talk to her. I'd want to talk to, and this is going to sound probably crazy, but I would definitely want to bring my grandmother back from the dead and ask her about her saving habits, because I never knew this woman had all the money she did.
Yeah.
And I don't know how she did it, to be quite honest, because she didn't make a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
I'd want to talk to her. That's 3, right?
That's 3.
All right. This is hard because I'm trying to be strategic. But you know what? Because I'm curious. Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse. That's a good one. I've never heard that one. Nobody's ever said that one.
I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna explain myself, because Amy Winehouse had such a voice.
Yeah.
And she didn't like we heard Whitney.
Right.
Whitney was old when she did pass. We heard Michael Jackson. We had all that they could offer, right? But Amy Winehouse's voice wasn't, I'm going to say, like, wasn't like Whitney Houston's, where, like, anybody and everybody maybe found it, what is the word they used for that actress, where they basically said she wasn't beautiful in the traditional.
Yeah.
Right. Amy Winehouse's voice just was something special, and you had to really, truly, I think, love music to appreciate the raspiness and the manner in which she could sing.
Yeah, she was.
And she used to just give me, she just gave me chills. So I would like bring her back just so she can sing for me. Valerie, in particular, just sing it out for me. And then I would say I'd want to speak to. That's 4. God, you should have told me this, because I could have these.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't know. I'm not one of those people who, like, makes lists.
Okay.
For stuff like this. Like, I'm kind of just like, again, I'm a free spirit. Like, I'm just out there, and I talk to everybody and everyone, and people say I'm a know-it-all because I talk to everybody about everything.
Yeah.
And I pick up a little bit from everybody. But I'd say for, like, at least the 5th person, I'd have to want to, my brother, who passed away.
Okay.
Only because he lived a hard life.
Yeah.
And I'd want to know kind of like what dragged him into the things and choices he made.
Yeah.
For somebody who was so gifted. Like, he was gifted. He was very artistic. He always had ideas. But also, he was blessed. He was, we had different moms, and his mom's side of the family came from money. Like, they had money.
Yeah.
And he still fell into some habits and certain things. So, like, I want a perspective on life, because I know I'm kind of harsh when it comes to certain realities for people.
Yeah.
Again, I'm very blunt. I'm very open, honest. So I want to talk to him.
Yeah.
I don't have another 5.
No.
I'll probably think of this tonight when I'm trying to go to bed.
Not everybody, it's a hard question for everybody. I mean, mine switches all the time. Like, I definitely, Nipsey Hussle would be there. Jay-Z would be there. I'm a big Jay-Z fan. Who else would be there? Princess Diana would be there. I love Princess Diana.
You know what? Yes, because I want to know, was it on purpose,
right,
or was it truly an accident?
Yeah. Princess Diana. Who else would I invite? Oh man. This is tough. What else would I invite? Tupac. I'll invite Tupac.
I was about to say, your shirt says
Yeah,
it.
I'll invite Tupac. Just because he's a revolutionary, and I'm big on history, so I would like to just know the things that he knew. I would invite Will Smith. I love Will Smith, and even though he slapped Chris Rock, I still love Will Smith. I still think he is
That man's broken.
right. He's broken. He's got a lot going on. So Will Smith. I'll bring Adele. I love Adele. I would definitely have her there. Tribe Called Quest. I love Tribe Called Quest. My favorite rap group of all time.
Yep.
I don't know.
You know what? I'd bring Old Dirty Bastard.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's
because he's so unpredictable and fun.
Right.
I want to know what he's like in real life, because like if he's exactly how his character is played, then dear Lord, we're gonna have a good time.
Right. Right. I know. Old Dirty Bastard's a good one. Master P.
Slick
Rick. Okay. Yeah. Morgan loves Slick Rick.
That's probably because she heard Children's Story a million times at my house.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said that's her favorite song. So I hear all of. We actually just was talking about that the other night about that, and she's like, "Oh, I love Slick Rick." That's her thing. That's her jam. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for me. Serena Williams. Serena Williams.
That's a good one. That's actually a good one.
Yeah. All right.
Their story's powerful.
Yeah. And I think that's it for me. I don't know. I don't think I'll invite anybody else. I think that's it for me. But it's a tough question. I ask everybody all the time because I love to. At some point, I'm going to compile the list of everybody that's been on my podcast and just their list, because I mean, a lot of people say a lot of interesting people, and it's fascinating. Music, because that's what I do. I love music. Preferably rap music, hip hop music. That's my thing. That's my jam. Who's your favorite rappers of all time?
All right, so
you can say as many as you want.
Okay, so obviously I said Slick Rick. Yeah. I just grew up. I had great memories. I mean, obviously I couldn't listen to all of his songs growing up because Mona Lisa is not for children.
Yeah.
There's certain songs that are not for kids. So I definitely say Slick Rick. I think because also I'm a big story person, and I like the way he tells stories. It's not just your gangsters and rappers and drugs. Like, that stuff is so... I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's just very played out for me. I grew up in the 90s when people were actually gangsters. Mm-hmm. So the new rap just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't get down with the new stuff.
No. Let's see. You know what? I do... So I'm not a big rap person per se.
Yeah.
I can listen to it. I can vibe to it. I'm a dance. I'm a dancer. I grew up dancing. I've been on every dance team from middle school, high school, college. I did step dance. So I'm more of a, if you can get me to dance and I feel it and I get chills from it, I'm all about it. But as far as music goes, I mean, Chris Brown.
Chris Brown's fun. I like Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying?
He just has hits.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The man does not fail.
No, he doesn't.
No, and you can dance to almost all of his stuff, so it's great. But I'm trying to think, old school rap, like, I like all old school rap. Like, I don't think there's, like, I don't have, my daughter asks me this all the time, what's your favorite this, what's your favorite that? And I don't have answers, because I don't have favorites. I'm a feelings person. Like, I don't know, I guess people call that empath.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, if something... Like, I always say I could work for a music industry studio because, like, you play a song in front of me, rap, whatever. If I get chills, it's a banger. It's a hit. Like, everybody's going to love it.
Yeah.
Usually, if I show somebody something that gave me chills, everybody loves it.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm, like, more of that. Like, it's not so much as what I hear. It's if, like, my body is in tune with it. It could be anything.
Yeah.
It could be country. It could be... And I grew up listening to everything.
Yeah.
Like, my dad is a Cape Verdean man, but if you heard his music selection, if that's all you had to go off of to pick what he was, race-wise, you'd be confused. You would never be able to pick. I grew up very well versed. So did my daughter. I could say adoptive, because there's a family that stayed in our life for years, and is her, we call them Nana, Ree, Papa, Kurt. It's her other grandparents, but they're not biologically related to her. Her great-grandfather from that family is a famous jazz musician.
Okay.
So my daughter grew up listening to jazz and actually getting to hang out with some people who are all over the 70s and 60s and 50s of records, names, credited, like famous people from back in the day. So I'm all about music and just how it makes you feel. It doesn't have to have a particular message. It just has to uplift you, whether it's Christian music or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. No, I like that.
I don't have favorites. I'm just a go with it.
Yeah. All right. One more question before I let you go.
Yes.
5 years from now, where do you want to be?
5 years from now, Texas.
Texas. What part of Texas?
So I'm looking at Hill Country. It's kind of like this Bourne, Texas, and like all those areas. Pretty much anywhere up there. They get like 2 months of crazy snow, and that's about it. But I want to be in Texas. I want to be married. I want to have maybe one more kid. I preferably want a boy because I have an 11-year-old girl, and it's awful. Somebody send me help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just being settled in my family and you know, financially, mentally, spiritually growing, and being a better me. Like, just being a better me, being better for the people around me, being more in a place where I can do more charity stuff, because obviously switching to a job such as mine where it's commissions based. Like, yeah. I don't get an hourly pay. And me being me, the social worker I am, I don't help everybody just to get paid. Like, I'll even tell people, like, right now is not the time for you to be doing this. You need to worry about budgeting, saving, doing X, Y, Z, and then in how long that takes to get to whatever these numbers are, then we'll reconvene and meet. So, like, you know, being that person in this industry, you don't always get paid because you're doing what's in the best interest of which you should always do. I mean, again, but with every practice, there's people who don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, just being a better me. Like, if you're not growing, what are you doing?
What are you doing, right? No, I definitely, I agree with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You should always be wanting to grow. You should be always wanting to be, you know, the best version of yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're not trying to be the best version of yourself, then I don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I come across people like that all the time. Like, all they care about is, you know, fancy things and doing whatever it is they do. And there's like, I'm just looking at them. I'm like, this is all you're going to do. And this is all, like, this is what you're okay with.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know, I do this. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not growing. You're not doing anything to grow. It's a hobby.
Right.
Like, you're just kind of stagnant. And I mean, I guess for some people, if you're making enough money, maybe stagnation is
it's
great.
The way to go.
Not for me. No. Not for me. I don't care if I'm making $1 million. At that point, if I'm making $1 million a year or, you know, $600,000 a year, I got to do something.
Right.
I might as well start getting philosophical. I don't know. Pick up a new something I just think that you should grow, whether it be you're getting into fitness, whether you're getting into mental stimulation, whether you're getting into spirituality more. Whatever you're doing, it should benefit you so that you are changing. I don't like when people say stagnant. It's weird.
Yeah, no.
It creeps me out.
You got to always run.
I'm like, you're like a child.
Right. You got to always want to progress. Life's all about progress and trying to do the best that you can do and be the best version of yourself. So I totally agree with that. I appreciate you so much for coming on here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're doing so many great things. I see all the stuff you post. I see all the people that you're helping. And it's just nice to see. And I'm really thankful that you came on here. I'm very happy that I get to call you family. So just thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
No, I just want to say I thank you for having me on here. I thank you for giving me, you know, a chance to speak. And if anything, I work right in Bridgewater. We can always all get together and do lunch or whatever. I know we don't get to see you guys as much, but that's what being an adult is like.
Right. No, we definitely need to make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I thank you. And if you ever need anything from me, you know where to find me. And I'm not talking about insurance, just anything in general.
Yeah. Okay. No, I got you.
All right. I'm going to click out of here and have a great podcast.
Okay.